Hi students, we're going to complete what we started yesterday. Today is the last lesson in Unit 2, so we are going to first complete what we discussed yesterday about the form, meaning, and function, and then we will move on to the last lesson, which is your project of the unit. So yesterday, in the form, meaning, and function part, we focused on the past and the present in the timeline. We said that we have the past simple, which is something that is done. There's no relation or connection with the future. Something happened in the past and it's in the past. And we discussed also the present perfect simple, which is a relation or a connection between the past and the present. Why? Because it started in the past and still is connecting to the present time. It's still happening, or it still has an effect. With this part, we had the two questions that we mentioned. We have the first one, how long? And with how long, we connected to for and since. We said that for is in the sentence when you mention a number of an hour, a number of hours, a number of minutes, a number of days, months, but it has to be a number, something counted. And since is connected with a period of time in the sentence. You can mention a date, you can mention a year, it can be a period of a time, it can be a name of a month, a day, but it is not counted. And then we had the other question, which I told you yesterday, or the last lesson, that we have here. It will be, we will discuss it, which is what have you ever. So we'll get to that part. But before, we have here the exercise that you have in your book. Now in your book, we have here to use the present perfect or the simple past tense with Amancio Ortega. So here we have a short one, and you can see that there are verbs in brackets just to give you, to guide you which verb to use. And you will decide, is it in the past or the present perfect simple, as you have here in the exercise. Now, if we here read, you can see that the son of a railroad worker, Ortega is now Spain's richest man. When Ortega was. So was is the past of be, simple past. 13, when he was 13, he blank as a delivery boy. So we are talking about Ortega in the past. He is something different now. So this is why it is not connected to the present time. We have here, we are going to use with work, the past, which is worked. He worked as a delivery boy for a shirt maker and later become. Also, I'm talking about his history, still in the past simple. So become here turns into became. Became the manager of a clothing store. He began making clothing in his living room, still talking about his past and still using the past simple. So begin here turns into began. Simple past. The rest of the exercise, we have here two more blanks. Ortega have an ability to predict what styles were going to be popular, and to create these styles, we are still talking in the past tense. So which means that have here, what is the past of have? It will be had, just turn, oh sorry, we have here. Yes, we have here had. Now, pay attention so you can see the difference between all the examples before and now. Because here, over the last 40 years, the clothing store gained a reputation for selling designer fashions. Over 40 years, meaning before, in the 40 years, and still is. It gained a reputation which is still now happening. There is a kind of effect. Zara as a store, it started 40 years and still is available. So this is what I mean when I said there is a connection between the past and the present time, still happening. So here, your sentence gain, we are going to turn it into present perfect simple. It is the only one which is different from the past tense. We have here the clothing store. I'm talking about the clothing store mainly. It is singular here in the sentence. So if I'm going to choose between has and have, I am going to write or choose has, because we have here it is singular. With it, I turn to the past participle of gain, which is going to be a regular verb gained with an ed. So here our answer is has gained. Now this is the first part. Then we come to what I told you about have you ever. Now have you ever here is a question which is mainly used to ask and tell about personal experiences. Now I can ask you something personal and say about an experience. Let's say, for example, have you ever traveled abroad? Have you ever tried parachuting? Have you ever gone scuba diving? Have you ever eaten lobster? Now these are different experiences. Notice that in the sentence I used which tense? The present perfect simple. Using have. Why? Because it is for you. Have you. Have you ever? And then I use the past participle of the verb. Have you ever eaten? Have you ever gone? Have you ever tried? Have you ever traveled? So we have here regular verbs and irregular verbs, but they are in the past participle tense. So here we have these are the examples. The answers can be different from one to another. So you can reply, for example, let's say, yes, so far I have went to 7 countries. So I used in the sentence so far. Yes, so far. So from the past I have, and still I am going or planning to travel. We have another answer. We can say, have you ever tried lobster? No, I've never tried it before. I used never in the sentence and I abbreviated I've never. I've never, just a short answer, which is of course I have never eaten or tried it before. You can also answer about scuba diving. I've delivered I dived once in Jeddah. It was amazing. And the last one I can answer, I haven't done it yet, but I'm planning to. So a response to a personal question can be different. You can use either yet in the sentence, which means that you are planning. That's why it is a present perfect simple. So far is the same thing. Never, here it can be past simple. Or you can here just answer, I've dived it once. So also it can here be present perfect simple. So we have here, these are examples that are all related to the question, the personal question, have you ever? Now going back to the last exercise that you have here in the lesson, in the book, complete the conversations, use the present perfect and simple past, then practice with a partner if you want, your classmate or your friend. So you have 4 short conversations that you can use either the past or the present perfect. It depends on what we're talking about. So here, it is obvious that it is the present perfect simple. Why? Because from the first word we have. Have you ever to charity? Now you give something to charity. So with the word have, I'm going to use given. Because given is the past participle, the third form. Why the third form? Why the past participle? Because we have here have or has. And we have here no I, have you. So here, because your yes, no question, again with have, you are also going to answer no, I haven't or have not. Have you? Yes, I, some clothes and books. I'm talking about something that I gave in the past. It's done. So that's why this one is going to be simple past, gave. The second one, I blank tacos in Mexico years ago. Something in the past. So tacos, what are you going to do with tacos? I ate tacos. What did they taste like? They also, I'm talking about something that was in the past. So we have here, they were. The third one, or the third exercise we have here, blank Sheikh Salman bin Abdulaziz al-Rajhi, always blank a billionaire. So here I'm asking about him being a billionaire, and he is still a rich man or a billionaire. He is still rich. So past connected to the present. So we have here, it's going to be has. There is a connection. And we have here, always, if we say that he is a billionaire, the past participle form of is going to be is, was in the past, and been in the past participle. We have here been. Has he always, or has Sheikh Salman bin Abdulaziz al-Rajhi always been a billionaire? No, he hasn't. Blank, he ever blank money to charity. Also, he is still known to be giving money to charity. So we have here, also has he ever money gave, given. Third form. Yes, he. Also, the answer started, or the question started with has, so the answer also has. Yes, he has. He, some of his wealth to charity in 2011. Here, 2011 is something in the past. So which means that this one is going to be past. We have here, he gave. The last one, I've never in a helicopter. No, here it can be different. You can say, I have never ridden in a helicopter, or we have here, been in a helicopter. I have, I in 1 over the Red Sea. So we have here, I have, which means the present. Perfect, simple. So we have here, I flew in 1 over the Red Sea. I'd like to do that one day. So we have here, this one is going to be the past because it is a very different sentence. They answered, I have, and then we turned it into the past. Okay, this is the last part that we have in the page. This is just a discussion for you. You can do it together. You can make it very interesting, and it is interesting. Why? Because you can make some notes in the chart below, work with a partner, ask and answer about your personal experiences. You can ask people you have met, the other partner, or about places you have been to, or about events you have attended. So there are a lot of interesting things that you can ask and also you would enjoy answering about. So this is the last part that we have in form, meaning, and function. Moving on to our last lesson in the unit, which is the project. Now, based on our unit, which is rags to riches, the project, as we did in Unit 1, is also connected to the unit. So we have here the project, just to remind you, in each unit relates to the unit's main topic. It is an activity in which you operate to perform a directed task. So you are taking the main topic of the unit. In Unit 1, we used teamwork. And also to remind you, we have here, always remember to use different kinds of presentations, especially that you are studying and you are learning online. So you can also be creative and present your project in a creative way. You can make it a presentation, you can use platforms, you can use social media, you can present something like brochures or something to your schools. So we have here, they are different things that you can create together, but always remember to do it as a team. Remember always to present something as teamwork. Now, in your book, we have here rags to riches. We talked about famous figures. We repeated them several times. And remember that these figures can be male or female. You may know someone who, or we didn't mention here. And here, your objectives are to name famous figures and enumerate their accomplishments. Research about their success. Research. Know more about their success. Analyze different periods of his or her life. Analyze, see what they have done in different periods. Prepare and present your project figure, as we showed, in a kind of way. But remember, at the end, to apply structure, forms, vocabulary, and phrases that have been learned throughout the unit. Things that we have passed by throughout the unit. Now, in your book, page number 23, think about a person you admire who could be a role model for you and your friends. Maybe you know someone, you already have someone in mind, or you can think about any other kind of role model, but remember that we have here a role model. There has to be some kind of effect, positive effect on someone. Research and collect information about his or her life and achievements. Make notes along the timeline below. So you have at the end of the page, there is a timeline that you can make notes about. Draw a timeline. You can make one of your own. And on a large poster, use your notes. It can be something done electronically. So we have here, use your own notes to write brief summaries at each point. What did this person do here? What did they do here? What did they do here? It's like a timeline. It would be easier for your presentation to form. Include pictures and drawings to illustrate the person's achievement. Make it interesting. Present your poster in or to class. Allow time for questions afterward. So even if you are doing it online, you can make some kind of follow-up for questions. You can answer. You can have it as a social platform that you can receive, or you can explain more about your favorite figure. Now here, this is a timeline that I designed for you. Now the timeline here is the same as you have in your book, just to help you focus on the basic points. Now you have to mention first, where is this person, male or female, born, or when? Grew up in when and where also. What did they do as children? Then we have the point of school, when and where. School, of course, meaning regular schools and universities. Moving on, we can see first discovered what he or she was good at, when and where. So how they began. Like, for example, Amancio Ortega, which is our last example, we said that he started designing clothes in his living room. Moving on, we can say how he or she used his or her talent, or discovery, when and how they started their thing or accomplishment that they made. Then we have who helped him or her, when and how. So any person, any successful person needs help around him as a team. So it is impossible for someone very successful to achieve something on his own. There are lots of examples to show that people, they have to work together. Now, I think the best idea that I can give you, or the best example, is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, Prophet Muhammad, when he started his message and to tell or spread about Islam, he had his people around him, which are the Sahaba. We have Abu Bakr, we have, for example, Uthman, Umar. So they started with him, and then they started to help him to spread his message. So even here, we can see that there is a kind of teamwork. There is someone who has to be with you to help you do the best. And here we have the last thing, how he or she became successful. What is the achievement? What is the progress at the end? What happened? And you have to remember, first and last, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the first reason for any achievement, any success, and after that is your achievements or any other person's achievement. So just to put in mind that there is a relation that you have to put in your vision before you start with something. So here, this is your project that you are going to start. Now think about someone who really has inspired and may inspire more. There are many famous people in the world, but not anyone who is famous can be inspiring. People, they can inspire you even if they are not that famous. So be selective. Choose a figure who is useful, who has done something good or has a benefit in life. And at the end, make your presentation interesting. As we said, illustrate pictures, interesting facts. Your presentation, how can you present it in a very interesting way that can attract to it what you are trying to say. So be very selective in who you are going to choose and how you are going to present your figure. At the end, now your project is based on brainstorming, researching and discussing famous figures. You can discuss many figures before you decide on one. Connect ideas and main points together. So here, as we said, you have the timeline, you can use it, which is the basic thing, and I advise you to draw your timeline, and then based on it, you can present different things about the person. And at the end, remember that you are forming a symbiotic team by distributing roles. There are many things that can be done. You can just divide the missions between you. Even the information that you give, the information can be divided between your team members. So someone is going to deal with the past, someone is going to deal with the present, someone is going to present, someone is going to give ideas. You are a symbiotic team, as we said in Unit 1. You are benefiting from each other. So make it as interesting and as enjoyable as you can. We have accomplished Unit 2, and inshallah, the next time we will start with our new unit, Unit 3.